How's it going, folks? Johnny here. So, the Resident Evil franchise has undergone some highs and lows over the past several years. More lows with some of their recent titles. Although the release of Resident Evil 7 may change that slump. But today, we're going to look at one of the less popular games from this IP, Operation Raccoon City. Let's look at what this game provides to its audience and determine what made it not so great. Alright, with that out of the way, Resident Evil Operation Raccoon City. Why did it suck? Operation Raccoon City takes place during the infamous Raccoon City incident and focuses on two separate teams that operated during that time. The primary campaign has you play as Delta Team, a unit of the Umbrella Security Service that is tasked with cleaning up any evidence that would link the Umbrella Corporation to the outbreak in Raccoon City, whether it be destroying data or killing witnesses. So, in short, you play as the bad guys. As the story progresses, you come in contact with a few key characters in the series, like Claire Redfield, Leon Kennedy, and Hunk for like 10 minutes. Something to keep in mind about the story of this game is that none of the events during the game even happened. You heard it right, the game itself isn't even canon, but rather a what-if to the events at Raccoon City. You know how I said that the game focuses on two teams, meaning two campaigns? Well, the other story has you play as Echo 6, the good guys, in which they do pretty much the exact opposite of what Delta Team was doing. I'm not sure about the storyline other than that, as Echo 6's campaign is actually DLC in which you have to pay for a few chapters at a time. But hey, the first chapter's free. Unlike the usual survival horror that Resident Evil is very well known for, Operation Raccoon City is instead a third-person shoot-'em-up action game. The characters you play as each come with several abilities specific to their role in the team, like invisibility, incendiary rounds, and being able to turn zombies into allies. The enemies you face in the game are about what you'd expect from a Resident Evil game. Zombies and a few BOWs, but there are enemies that do shoot back at you. A couple of interesting mechanics the game provides are bleed out and the chance of infection. If you take enough bullets to the gut, your character starts bleeding profusely for a time, and attracts nearby zombies to attack you. This mechanic also works against other enemies in the game. If you're attacked by zombies, you also run the risk of being infected by the T-virus, where your health slowly depletes. When you're out of HP, you're a zombo, and that means a game over if you're playing solo. If you're playing cooperatively, however, there's almost no consequence of being infected. All your buddy has to do is give you a solid knock to the head and revive your dead body if you're short on those antiviral sprays. I think Operation Raccoon City just didn't contribute to the Resident Evil franchise in a meaningful way. Because the game doesn't exist at all in the Resident Evil timeline, there was no actual story being told to add any insight into the world this game takes place in. The game itself isn't too bad to play, although very generic. It seems to me that Operation Raccoon City is just some shooter with the Resident Evil name attached to it and zombies gratuitously thrown in, which I didn't mind when I purchased the game back when it released. However, the drastic step away from the genre that Resident Evil is iconic for really deters the veterans of the series that are looking for that experience. That step away from survival horror is also the reason why Resident Evil 6 received mixed reviews upon release, but we're not talking about that game today. One really big gripe I had, and I'm sure many of you who played this game agree, was the ending. Oh boy, the ending. So the ending has your team tracking down and eliminating Leon, and securing Sherry Birkin in order to get Delta Team back in good graces with Umbrella and score right out of the city. Well, you corner Leon, and you're prompted with a choice to either kill or spare Leon. Once you've made your choice, the screen fades to black and now the scenery's changed and half of your team is now sided with Leon. Like, what? How do you end up from this to this? And Lord help you if you chose to kill Leon. If you manage to not get insta-killed by your former allies, then now you have to face Leon himself, which, by the way, has a ton of HP and will also attempt to insta-kill you if you get too close. The lack of explanation for the ending and the poor thought put into the final boss fight encounter really just had me scratching my head, wondering what the developers were intending with the way the ending was presented. Outside of the campaign, there is a multiplayer mode for those who are into that, although the game modes are your typical team deathmatch and other various objective-based games that anyone who has played a multiplayer shooter before is familiar with. The long and short of it is, Resident Evil Operation Raccoon City is a bland experience. Not necessarily a bad game to play, but there are plenty of other games out there that do this formula of gameplay better than this one. This has been Johnny from Banana Clip Gaming. Have a good one.
Sorry, we've got orders.
Seriously, that's just bad.